sometimes life takes you sideways. And I set up this whole competition and then immediately failed to meet the criteria. I suck. I'm sorry. If you've checked out the video a couple of days ago, I have made amends. A bunch of my personal tools, hey, there's an empty blank spot right there, are being auctioned off for GGBO, including a bunch of my Crimson Tools rulers and notch straight edges and leveling files and things like that. If you fancy owning something that I have used over the years, and check out the links, it's in the description below. But the most important thing is, this is the video. This is the finale. It's a little bit late, I'm sorry. But, this guitar is going to be incredible. I am very, very excited. Should we get this finished? Welcome to Crimson Guitars. Welcome to my home studio. Welcome to the final video in my Great Guitar Build-Off 21 Invitational Competition entry. Burn it. Oh, it should be a laser. Haha, yay! Snippy, snippy. Holy. Snippy, okay. I was not expecting that to fire quite that velocity. Okay, PPE, y'all. PPE. Sheesh. Let's try that again. All right. There is still tidying up to do, but it lives. It lives, I tell you. All we need is a little bit of lightning. Okay. I'm going to call it a day for now. I need to sand a lot more. I've done to 240 grit. I'm going to go 320. I need to sand and tidy around the inside of the, and they said splinters, and consider my finish. This is, the dots are not regular, and they're about, I had imagined far more. A bigger cluster, but I've run out of energy to do that. They are going to be hidden and camouflaged within the sunburst, and well, wonderful. Okay, staining. I have got 4 bottles of Crimson's stunning spirit stains, yeah? And we're going to use all of them liberally on the front and the back at the very least of this guitar. Yellow, amber, brown, and black. I love dichotomies. I love metal mixed with wood and hollow with solid and utterly strange with traditional. And I want a relatively cool, relatively traditional looking instrument from the front and from the side that. I'm thinking the whole middle bit is going to be left bare and natural maple, sycamore. The neck, most of the neck is probably going to be left as is, I think. I mean, I do have the ability to stain inside. I'm not entirely sure. And then essentially this scalloped bit would have some color. So natural color stuff. Nonsense. I should make this rainbow, shouldn't I? But anyway, I haven't forgotten the bridge. I'm probably not going to have it bolt all the way through to the back. I'm just going to bolt it to the top itself, and I'll drill those holes later. I am not going to be doing a spray burst. People always ask me, how do you get a burst without the use of a spray gun or an airbrush? And I'm going to use one of those methods today. I'm going to apply the burst, sand it back as gently as I can in the places I need it, and then I will gently feather it in and see what happens. I'm using a spirit-based stain which is going to make that more difficult. If I'd used water-based stains, I can use the water to create the burst much more easily. It mixes with itself and blends and does all of that stuff nicely. But I also am working with relatively thin plates, and I don't want moisture on one side and no moisture on the other. I do not want that. The spirit-based stains are wet for very, very short periods of time, and they off-gas, and it's all good. So, well, we're going to start with the black around the edges and go from there. Mask that off. There's not enough crimson in that. We're going off-piste. That's brown. Black. That's it. So this has got more colour in it. Yeah, add a little bit more brown. Yeah, the whole neck needs to be dark. I'm gonna go just a flat brown and then see what happens. I might add some amber over the top. Not amber, red, and maybe some black. Finally, some amber. We're all thinking it, aren't we? I mean, I trust that you're thinking it. This isn't going to be the last video. Still, because, you know, it isn't. That natural finish inside is not. It's just not right. I could leave the whole guitar natural and lose a lot of the effect. I love the way this mother of pearl is doing its shimmery thing. I need to do a build, film the whole thing, and then we're going to start releasing it and letting you guys into it. That's the only way that I can do this without continuously promising, hey, I'm going to be finished next week, and then breaking your hearts yet again. I have to spend even more time on this. I have to put a black stain, I'm sure it's going to be a black stain, inside this guitar because it needs it. It just does. The binding is not popping against the blonde sycamore. The skewers look like skewers. Not ideal. But once all of that is scraped back, and the inside is black, and the finish goes on. Oh yeah. Paintbrush time. I take it back. Brown, all the way. Okay, I'm nearly at the end here and it is starting to look fantastic, if I do say so myself. I am going to use, since this is Great Guitar Build-Off and I did this on the last guitar, I am going to use Crimson Guitar's shielding paint as a paint, as well as a shielding paint. And I'm going to use it to paint each one of the struts, because that metallic sheen that you get, that black metallic rhodium plated kind of a look, it's going to look really cool. And it's obviously going to take a little bit of time, but we have time, and it's worth it. Don't forget to be tempted. This guitar could be yours. Much better. Much better. All right. And just for fun, some amber inside as well. That looks more than a little messy. For now, I'm starting to see the fruition of all of that potential. Let the true fun begin. All right, I want to seal the stain, and I've put multiple coats of stain on, which means that you've got stain on top of stain on top of stain, which means that most of it hasn't actually sunk into the wood, which means that a fair bit of it is going to want to come off as you apply finish. And if I use the wipe-on lacquer, that would just pull too much of it away. The the guitar finishing oil, less so. The best, though, is a quick and light application of melamine lacquer, and we have some. Now, I'm doing this, a little bit of the stain is still going to come away, which is why I'm not going to scrape clean all of the binding. I'm going to apply a sealer coat on and see where we end up. This is going to be fun. Now, this stuff cures quickly. You apply, wipe, and move on. See, it's taking quite a lot off. It just is what it is. If it ends up being too blotchy, I will have to rethink my life. Hold on, I need something to decant this into. And that stops me from knocking it over. And that's, in parts, already dry. I'm going to apply a couple of coats of this all over and scrape the binding, and then top it off with some guitar finishing oil, which will smooth the whole thing off. Fingers crossed. I could send this to Crimson. I could take it to a spray booth. I could do all sorts of professional finishes. I could probably actually use a rattle can, etc. But I suppose rattle cans. I'm going to do a rattle can project next time. This is all about showing you things that can be done and techniques that can be used in a home workshop. But finishing, if you can delegate it, do. Okay, second coat, I'm just going to use a brush actually. Typical. I thought I managed to get all those out. Guys, I need a spray booth in my workshop. It's official. So I want to turn this over. This is pretty damn dry, to be honest. It's nowhere near the final finish, but I also don't want to just rest that edge on the bench. So, let's do that. Obviously, need to be a bit careful, but we're good. This is essentially a sealant coat, a sealer coat. That is going to take some time to make nice. So what I'm doing is I'm using my middle finger as a depth gauge, and then you run the scalpel, and it's an even distance from the center. A delightful noise. there is definitely something more than a little meditative about this. You're also using a sharp scalpel and need to concentrate so you don't stab yourself or the guitar. Yeah, there. All right, I'm really happy with this. There is still progress to be made. Ha ha. Sorry, I'm looking at it in your screen as well and seeing for the first time what I've been after. A little bit more cleaning, a little bit more scraping, some sanding of the edges, and in the next and definitely final episode, I am going to finish the finish. I'm going to paint in the final finish on these struts and wire it, put the hardware in, and hear her play for the first time. I do not think that this guitar is going to disintegrate. I think that everything's going to be strong enough. I see no reason why that wouldn't be the case. It feels incredible. Don't forget, it's going to be auctioned. Could be yours. And all of the money is for a great cause. Promoting guitar building, among other things. No, pretty much promoting guitar building. Oh, hell yeah. Thanks for watching. Click like, subscribe, share with your friends, your family, your enemies, and most importantly, come back next week and let me know what you think of this so far. Goodbye.